identification.
Let's go.
That's it. That's it.
Let's go. Hello.
Hey, I got something to start off the evening real good. Have either one of y'all ever heard Siri laugh?
No.
What's the name?
You've heard of Alexa, and I know you've heard of Siri, right?
Yeah.
Now you got to check. I'm not going to let you see the video, but I want you to hear it.
Hey Siri. Change my nickname.
Okay. What would you like me to call you? You would like me to call you?
Doesn't sound like she's laughing. She's spazzing out.
Yeah, I know. Every time I watch that day, I get tickled over.
Yeah, that's some old stuff. Back in the day when we used to join TeamSpeak servers, which nobody does that anymore. But we used to do the phonics stuff. So whenever you join, you could have your name and then the phonics part. And we used to do what was called Rafflecopter. And it would just, as soon as somebody come in that had that on their name, and everybody just start cracking up laughing. Except when it's in the middle of a raid or something.
I haven't heard hooked on phonics in God I don't know how long.
Why is my name coming up as my channel name and not my first name? That's weird.
Interesting.
I always use my phone to type into the laptop phone.
What, your channel name Bushy Bot?
No, that's weird.
Hey, Rebel Canners, how you doing? Hope you guys had a nice, easy trip back to Michigan. You guys missed all the heat. The heat this week has been horrible. Which I'm glad it was a lot cooler, even though Thursday was really stormy and everything. Every time I tried to record the broom guy, the rain started coming, and he says, "You're never going to finish that video. Every time you start recording, the wind and rain picks up." But I wanted to go over today what we can start talking about. What we've talked about many times is about prepping. Now, I decided to go and do some research because if you go on to think about how much food you have and think if it's enough for just 2 years. The thing is, and this study is from 2025. It's not from previous years. 66% of Americans don't have enough food to last 3 days in their house. Like if you were complete cut off, all you had for food is in your house. 66% of United States doesn't have more than 3 days food.
Don't come knocking on my door.
That is alarming. Now, you may think, well, you're good and everything, but I also went a little bit deeper into this, and the percentage, how many days of hunger before a normal human at this in 2025, a normal human, how many days of hunger will a person that is hungry make rash decisions and break the law to eat, meaning, do bad things to their neighbor to get their food and stuff like that? How many days do you think somebody would have to take before they starved enough to do something like that?
It depends on if they got youngins or not.
Probably.
No, this is a person. And it's not feeding your kids or anything. This is what a person, one person. And B already got it right.
I was going to say
3 days.
That's what I was going to say.
3 days. That's, to me, that's harder to believe than the 66% of United States don't have enough food to make it 3 days. It blows my mind that people will go to the store every day to get food, and then something. And we all know from 2020 that grocery stores only have 3 days of stock in the grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as that's gone, they have to wait for trucks to come in, if there's trucks coming in. So if somebody's doesn't have 3 days of food in their house,
What?
Yeah, problematic.
Yeah, and it goes up. It's like in the 80% for 2 years. 80, I think it was 89% of people don't have at least 2 years, or actually I think it was 1 year, food in their house. So if that person was cut off from food or grocery stores or government and all that stuff, 89% of the United States doesn't have a year's food in their house. So that's 11% have a year or more food in their house, which it still seems like a lot to me.
Yeah.
I would put myself in the category of maybe 6 months.
Yeah. I probably got the rice and beans, but you can get sick of them rice and beans. Now, there's people that, can't stand rice and beans, and I wouldn't tell them to store, or prep rice and beans, because if they don't eat it, what's the use? But now that I've seen this statistics on how long a human can take it before their brain goes to violence to get food, 3 days. I mean, I've went 3 days without eating before, and my brain worked fine. But it's a lot different now than it used to be.
Yeah.
Only
I wanted to address something. Grace, did you say YouTube changed everyone's names? Because I'm supposed to be my first name and my last and an initial, and I'm getting
now
my
that's
channel.
what I'm seeing, Eric. It says Eric R.
Oh, you're seeing Eric R?
Yeah.
I don't have YouTube up, so I can't check. I only see. Well, let me see.
I'm seeing Snook 738.
Yeah, so my
I don't get that,
my bot sees it too. So
but I didn't change anything, and that's weird.
it could be a YouTube thing.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I see it
Well,
in
yeah.
chat.
You all know who I am, so
Yeah.
they switched it to your at name to address by name.
Well, the
Get
only
that.
thing I'm going to say is, and we've said it since 2020, 2019,
Other people see it.
only prep what you and your family will eat. Now, if you can't stand beans or rice, go ahead and get you some. That's good bartering tool.
Yep, that's what I was going to say. That's the thing is rice and beans is very easy to store. It's one of the easiest things to store. If and this is just my preference because I know things are stored where critters and bugs can get to it. So I always put the bag in the whatever I get, a beans or rice, in the freezer for 24 hours, if or longer, depending how big the bag is. And then I set it to where it can get the room temperature. Then I put it in various things.
Now, I'm kind of the same way, especially with the freezer and everything.
Yeah.
But I'll get like a quart jar and I'll put a bag of rice in a quart jar. I don't take it out of the bag. I leave it in there. You know, like that right there. And it's like I've started getting in this here survival food where you go to, let's say, Walmart, order it online.
Expensive
Like
stuff. Yeah.
It is. Well, at that time, I could afford it. Okay. But after I got to looking at it, I'm not going to say, if it's just me and my wife, we ain't going to sit there no 2-3 days eating potatoes every day, you know.
Yeah.
And I've got to where I make my own MRE bags.
Yeah. That's the way to do it.
know.
If you got the Mylar bags, it's just as easy to make everything and put it in a bag. You just mark on there. Now,
What?
You got the window thing now that Mylar bags have to have, or do they do away with that? Because I still have the old fashioned ones that don't have windows.
That's what I got.
Okay.
Is the old ones, because I heard that. What's the point in putting them in there if light can get in there and destroy it?
Well,
that's what you don't want.
I understand why they did it, but that renders the bag kind of obsolete if what you're putting in there is subject to light and stuff, you know.
Yeah. I want to give a shout out to a couple I met yesterday, no names given, but they come out of Surrey County, North Carolina. Talking about bushcraft, the three of y'all will get along good because they are herbalists. They live off the land. They do their own food and their, let's say, medicine and everything like that, which I cannot go into detail up on here about.
Oh yeah,
but,
I know.
I mean, shit, we sat here and talked for a couple of hours in the yard yesterday.
Okay, that's interesting. Let me see. Oh,
I didn't do it.
Yeah. I'm going to have to fix BushyBot. They messed his name up too.
Wow. Okay. So it's not my phone. All right.
Yeah. Well, see, my name's fine on this channel.
Well, yeah, my name shows up on panel, but not in the.
No, I mean
Not in.
in chat. My bushcraft is fine.
Okay, that's weird though.
They better not
Had a
have
goat.
messed up my name.
Had a goat get out today.
What'd you do that for?
She had fun getting the goat back in.
Customization.
Awesome. Here we go.
If you're a gun owner, a USCCA
You know,
membership
why
is a
did it change my
no-brainer.
handle? I never.
It's Big Brother because I didn't do nothing either. We all need.
Oh, and somebody stole my name already.
What?
Somebody stole the name. Yeah, it's going by your handle now. That's weird. Which my handle is. Okay, dang it. Let's do this. Okay, that's available. Publish. Now, let's see if it updated. There we go. Now I'm Mr. Bushy Bot. Or the bot is Mr. Bushy Bot.
Now,
That's
Lake's name is the same. Shows up the same.
Yeah, it's her handle. It's showing handles instead of names. So instead, you have to go in and change your handle.
Oh, good luck with that. I ain't gonna bother with that.
But yeah, when I started digging into the percentages and stuff, and I came across this video where and I wouldn't suggest watching this guy or anything. But he was saying how much food by pounds he uses in a day, and I don't know where he comes up with the weight of it or what, but he, according to him, he uses 8 to 10 pounds of food a day. 8 to 10 pounds. Now, if one of the easiest ways to figure out how much food you would need, and it gives you a ballpoint, is just use rice. Not that you're going to eat rice every day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but how much is in a serving of rice for one person? It's usually a half a cup. So you figure that up and multiply it by weeks, months, and days. And according to him, he would need tons of food. And it was just for one person, too. And everybody should, try to figure out just using rice. How much rice does it take for a year? Now I can Google it.
Well, you figured you got a half a cup per person. You've got 4 cups to a small bag. So that right there is what, 8 servings. A half a cup per day.
No, well, that you eat 3 times a day normally.
When those roll around, you're going to be lucky to eat once a day.
Oh yeah, but that's how you figure out how much you would need in a year's time. Now you could make it easier. Just do 30 days. See how much food you would use for 30 days. Now you can after you figure that out to where you get a ballpoint figure of how much food that is, then you can go and schedule or figure out how much food you would eat in a week. You know,
Yeah.
say Monday you have spam sandwiches. Sorry, Bigfoot. Um, and
No,
you figure out then you had egg sandwich for breakfast and um, a piece of chicken and vegetables. So then you figure the next day and you figure out what you're going to need, and then the next day, and then then you have 7 days. Then you can multiply that for a month, then multiply that by 12 months, and then you come out with your amount.
Well, now, if you're gonna get to where you mix, for example, red beans and rice,
Yeah,
you know what? Maybe a fourth of a cup of rice you're gonna eat to about a half a can of beans. You
yeah.
know that right there, that'll give you a good meal.
Well,
You know,
see, and if you start figuring, um, um, like you and Dixie, you'll make a big pot of beans. Now, you're normally you wouldn't eat the whole pot of beans unless you're really hungry.
right.
So you can put those away in the refrigerator or wherever you're going to keep things fresh, and then 2 days later you take those beans and put some spices and some tomatoes in there and you make chili.
Mm-hmm.
That's 2 meals out of uh, 8 ounce
One
bag
thing.
or 16 ounce bag, whichever one you use.
Hmm.
And that's meal preps. I mean, I don't see much people talking about prepping for meals. Not prepping for like, the name, but prepping meals for a week. Um, a lot of times people will just take something out the night before and oh, that's dinner, and then they're trying to think of something else for the next night. Like I
Right.
said, I don't see too many people talking about prepping meals for the whole week. Um, I started getting into it because um, um, when I was
2020.
working, uh, what I was doing is uh, getting a pound of stew meat, and I'd fry up the whole thing, and then I would split it in half, and it would be for one day, and then the next day I would have the same thing, and two hard boiled eggs, because I could put it in a cooler and it tastes okay. um, and that was my meal prep for the whole week. I would have the same thing. And it kind of got old because there's not much I can do for carnivore for planning a meal safely. I'll put it that way.
Hmm.
But
Well,
again,
now,
like I said, I think we need to get back to that meal prep thing
yeah,
because
but
everybody's so um, like they'll take something out for dinner for tomorrow night. You have dinner and then oops, I forgot to take something out. Let's go to the store and get something for dinner, and go buy something. That's the thing we need to get away from is relying on that store to be there. Because what if it's not?
well, now answer this question. You yourself and you too, Eric. How much food do y'all have in y'all's house right now? Hey, is it 3 days, a week, a month?
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Oh, I got enough food for a while, but I mean, in a real crisis, aren't you supposed to cut your portions like you'd eat maybe? I mean, a real crisis.
Yeah.
Couldn't you go like to 1/3 of what you'd normally have per day, or one
Yeah.
half of what you'd have per day?
Yeah, but how many people would do that?
Not
Well,
many.
you're going to find out soon that they're,
Yeah.
you know.
Well,
And-
see, I got no choice. I can only go to the grocery store and buy for a month. And the way the price has got, $400, what, maybe 2-3 days now.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking now. Supermarkets just got flat out stupid. I'm sorry. You know, what used to be, let's say, chicken. Well, it's been a while. Let's say $1 a pound. It's done gone up to what, $4 or $5 now. You know.
Yeah.
And the chickens are nowhere near as big as they used to be.
Unless you go to
Raise
the
your own.
Amish. Amish has some big old chickens.
Well, see, that's my problem. That is this area's problem. There is no Amish store within 2 hours from where I'm at.
Well, there is Amish stores, but I don't go there because they jack the price up. I'm trying to find some Amish that I can just roll up on their house and throw it in the back of the car and go. Not stealing, buying it and then throw it in the back of the car.
I'm glad
That's all I need is Amish coming after me.
Right? You'll have 10 horse and buggies out front.
Yeah, feed has gone way up. Yeah, I've noticed that because loading it so much, I get to see the prices and everything, and it's like, wow, that went up that much.
Well, now, don't it say in the Bible that loaf of bread will be that of a day's wage?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I used to joke around that, I have to work an hour to buy a gallon of milk. Right now, I mean, the really good bread that, doesn't have bioengineered ingredient in it, that's $7 now.
Really?
Yeah. And it's the really small bread too. So it makes your hands look big when you eat the sandwich.
Oh.
Yeah. Grace knows what I'm talking. Dave's bread. Yeah.
I thought it was Mike's bread.
Is it Mike's? It's somebody's bread.
I started buying that a couple of weeks ago. It's very good, but it's a few dollars more than.
Now, I was sitting there thinking about the 3-day thing, because the 3-day thing keeps popping in my head. The issue is we're being overdosed with high fructose corn syrup. And they said that stuff is more addictive than, the drugs that you're not supposed to have. It's more addictive than that stuff. So everybody going to McDonald's, or you don't even have to go there no more. You can just do on your phone and it shows up at your door. They don't have surprised they don't have a chute or something that brings it right into your table or something nowadays. It's bad enough. The only time you have to walk is get off your couch to go to your front door.
Sounds like Jetsons are close.
That the idea of that is, it almost sounds like it would be true. 3 days without that drug, high fructose corn syrup, it could drive you to doing bad things to get food. And that's the scary part. People on here that watched us over the years talk about prepping this and prepping that. They could be prepping all this stuff. The next thing is keeping that stuff. Now, I'm not going to go into what you do and stuff like that. Everybody that is more or less prepping, unless your state or city or doesn't allow you to protect your stuff, should be able to protect this stuff. And that brings a whole different scenario of, could you protect your stuff?
Exactly.
The way I've heard it, as long as you got a good shovel.
Well, I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about you. Could you? And everybody, a lot of people say they could. It's a lot different than, somebody coming in and you're holding something on them and then deciding right then and there if you could do it. Not that I've been in that situation, but for me, I would say I would like to think that I could, but you don't know until the time comes.
Right.
Well, you just said what I was fixing to. Unless a person has been in that scenario, you do not know what you're going to do until you yourself is put in that predicament.
Yeah. And
I think it's also, well, obviously your mindset, but I mean, if you're already protective of your family and yourself, and you got situational awareness, if it got to a point where someone's coming to your front door for food, they're going to do whatever they need to do to get your food. I mean, it's, I'm not going to get into saying words that are, but you need to be prepared to do the deed, because what's the alternative is you and your family are,
who's to say they don't stop at food?
Right. Exactly. You got, even in peaceful times where there's not a food shortage, someone's rapping on your door at 3 a.m. and then you hear like a ram. They're trying to, happens all the time. I'm not waiting for them to ask questions. Or if you're brazen enough to come through someone's front door, you're brazen enough to do a lot of things.
Yeah, and I hope nobody ever has to do that.
Right.
But then again, I would rather hear about you protecting your family than the alternative of hearing so and so didn't make it because they didn't do the deed. It's easy when you're talking about amongst friends and stuff that, oh yeah, I wouldn't have any problem. I would do it. It's a lot different than being confronted with something in front of you than thinking about it. Yeah.
Which is another reason why we get proficient with your protective device and practice. Even if it's once a month, go to the range and practice.
Yeah.
Get yourself used to the noise
Yeah.
and the feel, the recoil, all that stuff.
I got an advantage on certain people. Instead of going to the range, I go out the back door. I've got to start popping some rodents around my yard. I just noticed today a squirrel has gotten up underneath my car and chewed my rubber gas line in half.
Oh.
And a while back ago, they got the hose on my grill.
I remember you telling us that.
Yeah.
That's why you always turn, when you're done with your grill, you turn it off.
I did.
Yeah.
I mean, it was out of propane anyway, but still, the point is, I got to get another hose.
Yeah.
You know, and now that little sucker got the line on my gas tank in my car. I'm practicing tomorrow.
Just don't shoot toward the gas tank.
Oh, no. I got
You'll be flying in the air with the squirrel.
He may not be the only one flying.
Exactly. Sudden explosion heard in North Carolina County.
Yeah, really.
I'm having to get used to all these new names in here.
I know. It's starting to bug me.
Yeah.
I'm just curious about one thing. Is there anybody in chat that is from Surrey County? Lake, I watched your video today. Interesting. I like that.
Yes, I like that series she's doing.
So I'm not the only one having squirrel problems. Tammy's got them.
Yeah. Well, that's why they make those antennas, so they hold the tail up when you're driving down the road.
That's what they make frying pan for too.
Yeah. Well, that's the other part.
That's the good part.
Yeah. Oh, nothing better. Get a
gravy,
bacon grease in there, and then brown that thing, and gravy, and then put potatoes and carrots, and
There is one type of gravy I just heard about since 2020. I'm wanting to try. It's called chocolate gravy.
Yeah, I've seen that.
I've only heard about it, and everybody that has tried it, has said that is some good gravy.
What do you just add some cocoa to some meat gravy or something?
You're gonna have to pull it up on YouTube. Chocolate gravy. I'm not exactly sure. Hershey's cocoa mix and some other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it mixed with bacon grease.
Well, now the way I understand it, and don't quote me on this, it is a mountain dish. Is all up and down the Appalachian Mountains. It ain't just in one state.
Yeah.
But it's like a main dish up through there.
Mm-hmm.
We don't call it gravy down here. We call it soppy. Biscuits and soppy. Yeah.
No, you sop it up with your gravy. Biscuit.
Biscuits and soppy. The famous, it's the vein clogger.
Okay, I'll give you that one. Well, now, wait a minute.
Harvest, I'm doing very good, hon, even though they changed my name on me. But
everybody's just like that, though.
I know. I hope you're feeling well.
What sucks is that when they did that, somebody was waiting for this to happen, and they went and changed and took my handle, which is the at
I wonder who that could.
Bushy Bot.
That's that army of trolls.
So now I have this Mr. Bushy Bot.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go, Dana. Soppy.
Oh.
Luckily, I already had. Well, see, when I first did this, because I was on the beta, I could do it way before everybody else did, and I just tried to get at Bushcraft, and they said that name I couldn't have that name; it wasn't available, and so I did the at Bushcraft Family. So I already had that already done. I'm wondering about. Let me check this real quick. Switch channel.
Is it me, or is today one of them lazy days where you really don't want to get out of bed because it's too hot?
It wasn't too bad
Come down here,
until after it rained. After the first storm came around, it was icky. Here,
well, we had heat thunder a while ago. I don't think it's gonna rain.
Okay, that one's fine. Bushcrafty.
Southern style chocolate gravy. One of these days I'm gonna break down and make me some.
Yeah, Dana, I wonder if you got hit hard. I had a tornado just a mile from me, north of me. Picked the whole damn house up with the woman in it.
Oh, wow.
When I don't know how many yards, and she walked out of the house, a big black eye, and oh my God.
Yeah, it wasn't, we were out, I think 10 o'clock, and it was already 94 degrees at 10 o'clock. Yeah. And then, like I said, that we had a storm come through. And then after that, it just got muggy and yucky.
I don't care what anybody says. I hate storms during the summer. Because 20 minutes after the storm passes, it's hotter.
Oh, yeah. That's why I said that working there on that asphalt, it's hotter and there's more humidity. Because as soon as the rain comes through and all that heat out of that asphalt, you start seeing the steam coming up, and you can tell just by walking and stuff, it's harder to breathe because all that steam and stuff coming up, and it's just horrible.
Well, see, you kind of lucky, because when I worked on asphalt, we had asphalt being poured at the time. And I always understood, why are people sitting on the road up underneath the trucks? Don't they know it's cooler in the grass? You get away from that asphalt, it's about 30 degrees cooler.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what out the garden area before you go in, we have a thermometer out there, and it's always 20 to 30 degrees hotter on the asphalt out there.
Yeah.
So if it's 90, it's 110, 115 or higher.
Now, where you work at, okay, do they supply y'all with water to drink?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay. If you know Rural King, that's one of their things. They have spring water and drinking water. And anytime we need water, we put it in, because we have a little refrigerator. And when it gets real hot, we got the cooler outside that they keep putting ice in and stuff, which is
Okay.
good because you can sit there and splash that stuff up on you to cool off.
Now, when I went to Walmart for the first time back there in TLE, we had to buy our own water. All right. So I was bringing a cooler in, 2.5 to a 2.5 gallon cooler. I would bring in with ice and water. And the lady who was in charge of the whole thing asked me, "What am I doing?" I said, "Well, what's his name told me if I wanted water, I'd have to pay for it." She said, "Hold on, I'll be back in a minute." She went and chewed his backside out and come back there and told me to go get a cooler off the shelf, 2 bags of ice, and a case of water and put in there. And from that point on, we had no problem.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, see, there's a big difference between Walmart and
Rural King.
King. We're outside the whole day.
Oh, whoa! Now wait a minute. The garden department plus TLE back there.
They have fans blowing and stuff out there, and it's
They didn't. Not where I'm at.
Ours well, our Walmart does. They actually have the doors open and blowing AC out to the people, and it's all covered roof too.
Now back there at TLE, we had all 6 bay doors open, but no fan and no air. And I mean, sweat just constantly rolling.
Oh yeah, that's soon. And if you do go when you go inside to put the carts up, you got that AC running on you, and as soon as that happens, because your body's already hot, it just it's pouring down. The last week, it was, and again, I don't think it was too hot. It was still upper 80s, but it was so bad that everything on me was soaking wet. My hat was wet all for the whole thing. I mean, I could have just wringed my clothes out. It was so, and probably drank at least 15 bottles of water.
Well, you know, I am probably the world's biggest teaholic you'll run into. But when I'm hot and I'm sweating, that is the last thing I want to drink.
Yeah.
Get me water, or you get me not Gatorade, Powerade. You get me a bottle of Powerade or water.
Yeah, those things are useless anymore. You want liquid IV.
Well, that's true.
It used to be good, and then they just made it a, flavored Kool-Aid stuff.
They did, with syrup in it. But
they can charge you more. That's what it is.
Well, see, in the little city that I'm in, the health inspectors in the city has sent letters to everybody. Don't drink the water. And that was before 2020. Okay. Don't drink the city water here because it's got stuff in it they ain't supposed to. So that's the reason Walmart and the grocery stores, that is their number one selling item is water. They sell more of that here than anything else. And I don't know how much it is for y'all at, but I think a 20-ounce bottle of water is over $2 or close to it.
Hey, Jan. Yeah, here's let me find this. This is after 3 days. Again, this just blows my mind. Survival instincts are powerful. The drive to survive can be a powerful motivator, potentially overriding morals and legal boundaries when faced with extreme hunger. And that's 3 days. And it shows breaking in of private property, crucial, um, preventing acts of, bad stuff. Empathy and support go out the door after 3 days. I still can't get over that.
Well, it's got to be, you know,
And it's
brain. The
20,
brain is getting nutrients, right?
it's 2025 now. I think if you went back, because I watch Survival Man all the time. Um, when he was popular and everything, because he actually went out and done everything, and he's went a week without eating anything, and he starts toward the end, he starts having trouble with fiddling with stuff and everything, and a lot of that's dehydration, but he still has a calm mind and everything. But I guarantee you, he doesn't go to McDonald's and all these other fast food places every day to eat. So I think that has a lot to do with it, because it still blows my mind about the 3 days. 3 days and
Now, is that 3 days without water too?
no, this is just food. Even if you're fully hydrated, and because that's one of the things, you could be fully hydrated, but not eat everything. Um, yeah.
Well, what gets me is this right here. When 2020 first started, we had the lockdown. I'll put it like that. We had lockdown.
Yeah.
People couldn't get out and they couldn't go eat like they supposed or like they wanted to. Okay.
Unless you were a governor.
Oh, true. But yeah. But a lot of people started going to the grocery store, buying groceries and cooking at home. You give it about, what, 2, 3 months, and you start listening to people, they will tell you that fast food is the nastiest food they ever ate. And they don't see how they ate it for as long as they did
Yeah.
compared to home cooked food.
Yeah. And
You
and
know,
on the other note with that, you would see videos of people trying to cook hot dogs and just the
yeah,
mac and cheese. They'd burn their mac and cheese and all kinds of stuff. Looking, and it would. I don't know. It's just I've I don't know, but to see somebody read a box of mac and cheese, it just blows my mind that somebody has to read a box of mac and cheese to cook it. You know what I mean? Because I've never read a box of mac and cheese to cook it. It just, you cook the noodles, you drain them, you put the other stuff in there.
yeah.
But
But
nowadays, it's either that or they Google it. Um, how long do you do this for? And I'm, huh? Until it's done.
well, I have never but one time burnt a pot of rice. Okay. And I'm not talking about this minute rice. I'm talking
Oh
about the
no.
bag of rice, you what, a half a cup to 1 cup. And the box, mine says after it gets to boiling, turn down on medium or low for what is it, 15, 20 minutes. Do not stir, do not touch, do
Just
not
leave it
uncover.
alone.
Yeah. Okay. 5 minutes, I go in there and look at it. I still got water in it. 10 minutes, I go in there and I look, I see a little bit of water. 5 minutes, I cut it off, I stir it up, no water, it's done. Plain and simple.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of the instructions I've noticed is wrong. You have compared to your temp or your altitude and everything, you got to keep your eye on it.
Oh yeah.
Any good cook will tell you that. You know. And as far as reading the instructions, or if you've never cooked before, I can understand that.
Well,
Maybe
yeah,
they,
something like rice or something like that, because it's like, oh,
yeah,
how much
rice is
water do you
pretty,
put in and stuff like that? But you
and
know,
it's
or like a can of soup. Why do you need the directions for a can of soup? You know?
okay. You got me on that one. All right,
Yeah.
plain and simple. But now, like gravy, the first time I started making gravy, I think the first 50 batches I made, none of them never turned out the same. They
Why?
were,
Because you didn't cook the flour long enough.
that was one of them. I did not know you had to cook the flour a certain amount of time.
Yeah,
I,
the same
it was
thing I did.
either
It's
it
that
was
I
either
Yankee in you.
too runny or too thick. You know,
yeah.
like that.
Hey, what?
That's just the Yankee in you, man. You know them recipes confuse you.
Well, I think I was like third or fourth grade when I started cooking gravy. So, you know, have a little bit of lenience on me. I'm surprised you still awake, what?
Oh shoot, I kept all the lights on here in Georgia and ready for round two.
Hey, dude, you burning the candle at both ends, ain't you?
Hey, as long as it keeps burning, can't stop. You can't stop what can't be stopped. Nah, it's been pretty busy and shoot dealing with this hot weather. Summer came in quick.
Man. Well, yeah, I don't think we had a spring this year.
For a little bit.
Eh, I think I went to bed about 1:30, quarter to 2 last night, and I was surfing up on channels. So
Yeah, I think I finally passed out around 4.
I wish I was still young. I could keep up with you then. Now, shit, I can't do that no more.
Dang man, I ain't talked to you since I was 36, man.
Well, happy belated birthday.
Thank you, thank you.
And come to think about it, I do believe I wished you a happy birthday.
I did. I wrote it on my notes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, everybody's name's wonky unless you already had set your handle up ahead of time. For Prepper 1013.
Now, okay. That's 10, 13.
Oh, yeah. Grace sent me something, and after she sent me a video, I started seeing a whole bunch of things and I'm not the one that's supposed to be doing this. You're supposed to send that stuff to 101. He's the Q guy. I don't want to get into those things. I started looking at some other times that things were out and stuff, and I was like, wow, because I actually started going to the boards and looking at this stuff. Let me find it real quick.
Okay, while you trying to find that, let me bring this up. For normal people, how they gonna get up with 101? You can't.
You can leave a message on a video. He has videos and lives up.
Okay. He's going to be live tomorrow night.
Yeah. Well, usually everybody sends me, say, hey, can you send this to 101? Yeah. I'm like, no. Yeah, you look at time that I'll just let 101 do that, because I actually went and looked at some of the other news broadcasts when the speeches were let out. And also I know, which I'm not going to talk about, but I know when the first boom boom hit. And if you look at the time that it actually touched ground, and you go to the cue boards, it's like, wow, how did they know this? And it's crazy.
Well, we've said it before. It's already planned out. They know what's going to happen years before it happens.
Have a good night, Jan. Congrats on the 35K.
Congratulations.
Yes, ma'am. I hope Jan's a female.
Yeah.
Saw something pretty interesting yesterday. Well, y'all probably already heard about it by now, but me and one of my coworkers was working outside, changing out some exterior lights on the home, and I was up on the ladder, and I saw something out the corner of my eye, like a flash or a little twinkle, and I looked over, and I said, "What the heck is that?" And about the time I realized that there was something there, it kind of either burnt out or it went over the horizon. I couldn't see it no more. And I said, well, dang, that was kind of weird.
Meteor.
And didn't really think no more about it, and got through with what I was doing, went on the other side, asked my coworker, did he see anything? And he said no. I kind of brushed it off. I said, well, maybe the heat was getting to me or something. So we finished up for the day and was coming in, and he was driving. So I'm scrolling through my phone and seeing what's happened. And I start seeing all these stories and these reports of other people that seen a similar thing, and people was posting videos and stuff like that. And I showed him the video. I said, see, this is what I saw. And yeah, that was pretty strange. But yeah, I'm pretty sure y'all done heard the stories now about the Southern Lights yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what gets me is this right here, What? How do people know when to start recording? Because ain't them things quick to begin with?
It was just a second. And then, like I said, I was up on the side of a house. I was changing out a floodlight at the time, and I really didn't have time to react. But yeah, it happened so fast. And heck, I brushed it off, really, you know what I mean? But I guess depending on the location that people was filming from, I mean, there was reports throughout Carolina, I think parts of North Carolina, Tennessee.
Yeah, there's
I think there was reports even as south as Macon, Georgia.
There's cameras everywhere. So
yeah,
it's you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised.
If it's a security camera, I can understand. But for a person to be outside with a camera, they've got to know what time is going to happen.
Well, there was they were saying that there was tell you what area to look at. If you follow NASA has one that has the possibility of meteors and stuff shooting by, showers and stuff where you can actually you go out and, yeah.
Well, with my luck, I'd keep the camera up. Just as soon as I bring my arm down to rest it, there it goes.
I saw this guy from Columbia, South Carolina, post a video of what he saw.
Yeah.
And Columbia, South Carolina is probably about 45 minutes from where I'm at. And the view he had looked real similar to the view that I seen. But yeah, I couldn't react quick enough. But I mean, in today's times, most people that's got a phone, they're walking around with it. Either it's in their hand, in their pocket. It's real easily accessible. So I mean, if you got it in your hand, it ain't but a second to get it up there and snap a little shot, I reckon.
Yeah. But from your brain telling your hand to do it, that's going to be a couple of seconds, a delay time on that.
Well, it depends on the person. If it's a teenager, it's like instant. Yeah, and they hit the button. Oof.
Like you tell Allie, I appreciate that.
Yeah, they're really fast with the phone. Now me, it takes me. I'm going, and then I have to switch it to video, and then
it's gone.
Yeah.
Not that it's connected, but last night, after the sun went down, I'm sitting out here and where I always sit when I sit outside the same spot, and I started seeing lightning bugs all over the place out there. I said, wow. I don't remember the last time I've seen one, and I don't remember the last time I seen that many at one time. That was pretty cool.
Well, what is it, today or tonight? I mean, tonight or tomorrow night, we're supposed to have something going on with the moon.
All I know is I got a weather warning just come in. It says temperatures dropped drastically. It's 80 degrees.
And you better pull out your coat then.
Uh-oh.
He hit the wrong button again.
The low 80s in hardly no time. It looked like it was going to rain, but it never did. But man, the temperature dropped fast.
I don't see Jim here. He's talking, but I don't see him.
Speaker Man 1093.
So
yeah.
Usually this time of the night we would have still been in the high 80s.
Oh, he's backstage?
Evidently, but he's not. I don't see him back there. I scrolled and everything.
Well, if he's backstage,
Probably
I hope he's got a broom.
Well, hit the wrong button and he disappeared.
But yeah, it feels great out here tonight.
Is that who Speaker Man is? Is that
yeah.
them? Okay.
Yeah, I see YouTube's changed the names. I guess they did an update or something because now mine don't say What Life anymore. It says The Real What Life.
Yeah, they're switched to handles again.
It messed me up. I looked at it and said, damn, somebody in here with my name.
Somebody try to steal my name.
Yeah. Say again.
Oh, there he is.
Midnight Rock.
Hey, Jim.
Hey.
Sounds like a Martian.
I'm gonna leave.
Bye. Nice talking with you, Jim.
Sorry.
My last nerve.
Sorry, what? I actually muted you instead of him because he left so quick because I muted him.
I was stunned after that. I didn't know what was happening.
Sounds like you got a multiple bunch of apps open.
What now? What the heck happened? I think the one link only had my audio, and the other one had the video. And why did YouTube change everybody's name?
I don't know.
Because that's YouTube.
Now I'm confused. Who are these people?
How do you change it back?
Hey, don't you know YouTube likes messing with people to begin with?
YouTube's like a woman. You can't live with her and you can't live without her.
No, I'm not going there.
Jim, that's pretty good. I hear you talking, but your lips ain't moving. Bad Japanese movie.
Was he frozen
I'm
again?
frozen on YouTube and not on Streamlabs.
Perfect.
Hey, how hot did it get, life down in Georgia?
Dude, it was so hot here today that the Jehovah's Witnesses started doing telemarketing.
It got to 101 here on Tuesday.
Wow.
And there's nothing I could do about it. Some trees got burned. It's too hot for them.
Well, I for one, before we go too much further, go ahead, Jim. I got to hear this.
What about the trees?
No, the midnight. You're the midnight rapper. I want to hear you rap.
No, the Midnight Rider. I typed in rider and that came out rape or shit.
Oh no!
Oh man!
Because I've already most of the time I wonder what could Bushcraft change that?
No.
A lot of the times
No,
when I see the deer for buck
man.
damage, it's after midnight.
No, there's no.
Let me see here.
Only control I have is I can mute you and I can kick you.
Huh.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's so hot in North Carolina, the chicken was picking up earthworms with gloves to eat them.
Mm.
I'm going to change my name and come back.
Well, you should. Well, I don't know how you do. No, we'll never see him now. Well, it was he. Yeah, it says writer on the other one. How do you mix the two letters up though?
I don't know.
So you say YouTube's done this before, correct?
Yeah.
Does it end up going back to normal or no?
It's hard to say with them, but it should. I'm a little ticked because somebody took my name, my Bushy Bot name. Perfect time to freeze Jim's face there.
Well, I'm not frozen on YouTube right now. I'll tell you, it cooled off here today, and we had rain in the morning.
That is a good shot. That's like you watching a doe fall over in the field.
They're out here, Eric. I've seen. The other night, I saw a buck in the neighbor's driveway, right across the street.
Well, don't be doing nothing over there.
Well, I know that. I didn't see it until Holly barked. Then I shined the light, and I see this 4-point buck standing there.
There we go.
What's coming in? Because the title of the show, you think something's coming like what happened in 2020?
Oh yeah, eventually. It's like saying that'll never happen. Is like the odds of that is unthinkable. But you know something like that's going to happen again. They since 2020, you know, they've had measures put in that would save that from happening again. And I'm talking about the supply chain, because the supply chain was broke for over 2 years. And they're still trying to catch up on a lot of stuff. Normally, and it's starting to go back that way, but say Easter. After Easter's over, they usually put what leftover candy and stuff out there for 50% off or something like that.
Yeah.
You noticed when stuff started happening, there was no half out off sales anymore. They put that stuff back for the next year.
They'll probably put it in the deep freeze.
You're lucky if they even do that.
Yeah, but the Easter candy sometimes is marked Easter candy, like the M&Ms and.
Yeah, but they put it back for the next year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but what are they going to do about the expiration date or the best buy date?
It's still. See, that's the thing. When now it used to be for can, and it's different on different types of vegetables and meat. It used to be good for 8 years when it was made at the factory and canned right there at the factory. Its expiration was 5 or 8 years, depending on what it was. But since then, you notice new cans coming out, and it's 4 years at the most. Mostly, it's 2 to 3 years now for expirations, and a lot of that has to do with the pop tops. The pop tops are not. They're like 18 months. So now you took away their way to preserve food longer, because most cans have the pop tops now.
Yeah, I noticed that.
So yeah, well, see, there's things like there's a lot of things that you can't, that has to be sealed, because it creates pressure when it's warming and cooling and stuff.
Well, let me say this right here. I don't care what can you got or you fixing to open. Just make sure you wash it off.
Oh yeah. You know how many rats and mice walk on that stuff?
That's what my granddad used to say.
Yeah.
That's why there's stains on some cans, probably.
Oh yeah. I mean, a lot of stores, I don't know if they do it so much anymore, but when I used to work in the grocery stores, when a case of, whatever, SpaghettiOs, we took a spray bottle and cleaned the tops of the cans, and then now I'm showing my age. Put the prices on. now nobody puts prices on anything.
No.
They just put it in its spot, even though nobody knows how to put it in the spot for the right price anymore anyway.
You know what I've noticed with canned foods? The Acme, where their canned dog food agrees with Holly, the signature brand, for a while they went to the kind that you pull off to get the can open. Now they went back to the kind that takes the can opener to open.
Yeah, and that's what they're trying to do because of that whole mess that they came into, because we ran out of all stocks of food, of canned food, except for, well, we ran out of it, but ramen. Everybody went and bought ramen. And if you remember, there was like tons of different flavors. And then it went back to chicken and beef for a good long time.
Yeah, chicken and beef.
And it's because, and that's the same thing with pop. Look at all the pop that we lost through COVID, because it's easier to just make the popular stuff.
Yeah.
And the ones that didn't do so good, they just got rid of it and focused on the main pop. Well, now their Mountain Dew has gotten crazy with the different flavors.
Yeah, they have.
You got Little Caesar has its own flavor. You got Circle K, 7-Eleven has 2 different flavors.
Dollar General's got their own one that they just sell.
Yeah, it's nuts how they're selling that stuff.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, I appreciate, I guess the fact that we've got a lot of options, but sometimes I walk down some of the aisles and I'm like, man, this is just too many flavors or too many options,
There you go, Joe.
Well, have y'all heard to where Walmart and Target and name brand stores is going to start taking the prices down? If you want to know how much something costs, you have to do it by phone.
Yeah.
Well, actually, the prices on some items have gone down just a little bit.
No, he's not talking about that. He's removing the price tag, the little sign. All they're going to be is you just scan the barcode on the can of whatever.
With a cell phone.
Remember when Walmart had the business thing, the rollback, and they had the little smiley face,
Yeah.
Walmart rollbacks? That's been a
Don't
while.
even get me. Don't even get me started on that one.
The smiley face got lost.
It amazes me. I mean, I haven't been to Walmart in months, but it amazes me the number of people that go there and they buy most of their food items there. The whole cart is loaded up with chicken, beef,
Yeah.
and I don't like. I've never eaten any Walmart chicken or beef.
Fly.
You want to know one of the biggest? I watched a documentary the other day about just grocery stores and kind of food in general. But you know, one of the biggest contributing factors that made like supermarkets available is the fact of air conditioning and keeping stuff cool and being able to ship it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, y'all know at one time there wasn't supermarkets. You would go if you wasn't growing your own stuff. You probably, if you went to town, you go to a butcher. You went somewhere, and at one time the guy gave you what you wanted. You know, you just didn't walk down aisles and get it.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I think it was Piggly Wiggly was one of the first stores that opened up to let people just kind of go get their own things. And that was in Memphis, Tennessee, and then that took off. But then you had the ability to keep stuff cool and refrigeration. That made your supermarkets available.
Yeah. One of the coolest things, and Jim and Jeff and Eric probably knows this, but that is a big old chest, and you slid the door open like this and reached down inside that cooler and got a pop, and on the side of the cooler was a thing to open the bottle of pop.
Oh yeah.
The best cold drink you'll ever drink, even till this day.
And they came in a glass bottle soda.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was a kid, my grandmother, I was probably like 5 years old, took me to this grocery store. It was called Beans. It was a house that they turned into a grocery store, a big old farmhouse, where the whole first floor had canned foods and refrigerated chicken.
Now answer this question. I know how the mountain people did it because I asked my father. All right, but you get down in the flatlands or whatever. How did the people keep their milk cold and everything? How did they refrigerate stuff that needed to be
cellar? The root cellar.
And actually, my sister's husband was going down to the root cellar a few days ago, I found out, and he fell on his rear end and got a big hematoma. Had to go to the hospital. Because they keep stuff down there. Because it's like 55 degrees. He's lucky he didn't break his ankle too.
And like what was talking about the stores where the person working there would gather all the stuff and figure it out, the price and everything. That's how, when we went with my grandpa, we went, if we're lucky, once a month to the store, and it was just to get coffee, sugar, and his chewing tobacco and that kind of stuff. And we would say, want 5 pounds of flour or 5 pounds of sugar or something like that, and he would put it in a metal crate, or not a metal crate, a wooden crate.
You figure back in those days, rodents were a problem, and people had to seal stuff so rodents couldn't get in them. Hey, Harvest Merryman.
Yes. And it kind of ties into, the prepping or the next event. And it just kind of shows you the shift on, people's dependency on those supply chains and stuff like that, versus, like you said, you went was your family and you went and got a few things. You wasn't going there and loading up a whole grocery cart,
Yeah.
You wasn't living off of it. You just needed a few essentials.
Well, most of the time we had to walk home, which was at least 7-8 miles at least.
I would take a wheelbarrow if I had to do that.
Yeah, my grandpa carried most of the stuff. I carried some stuff, but
He had that old man strength.
oh, to this day, he's the strongest man I've ever seen. He actually, and it probably not now, but when I was down there, because his nickname was Mutt, and we would go into a bar. Yes, my grandpa took me in bars when I was little. Everybody would tell a story of my grandpa that the neighbor was on his tractor and ran in a groundhog hole or something, and it flipped over, and the tractor fell on top of him on one of the big wheels, and my grandpa went up there and picked it up while somebody pulled him out of there. And that story, I heard it so many times from everybody would come up and tell me, your grandpa did this, and yeah, I think I heard that a couple times, but they would tell me anyway.
It happens.
Yeah.
It's hard to get rid of groundhogs.
Oh, no, it's not. It's really easy.
They run behind trees.
Get a Chase Lounge 12-pack and a nice scope.
Well,
my grandpa's, he didn't have a scope on his 22. That's what I learned was a 22. I got good at it.
That's good.
I carry a broken shovel handle with me on the tractor.
The first one I got, I had to clean it. That was the deal, and that right. Oh man, that stunk so bad. And we ate it that night, or actually we ate it the next night because he soaked it in salt water overnight. Thankfully.
I'll see a groundhog, then it'll run, then it'll be behind a tree.
Can you eat them?
Yeah, you can eat them.
Trying to shoot when they're hiding underneath like a 6-foot tree with branches all the way to the ground.
Well, you don't try to sneak up on them. You just sit out there and wait for them to pop out the hole. But you want to make sure they get out of the hole and go out a little bit, because that's horrible thing when you pop them and they fall back in the hole. Then you smell them for days.
I've put smoke bombs in holes and covered the holes with a wheelbarrow full of horse manure. I've killed both of them that way.
Really?
Smoke them out.
Not really a big thing around here. We got the occasional mole every now and then. You'll see a little mole track,
And they're pretty smart animals, those groundhogs.
Allegedly.
You kind of remind me of Bill Murray on Caddyshack there, Jim. Only you weren't using C4.
If I didn't have 4-wheel drive, I'd get the tractor stuck in one of those holes.
Yeah.
About it.
Is your favorite candy bar Baby Ruth?
Uh-oh.
Hershey's dark chocolate.
You talking about the pool scene there, Bush?
Yeah.
Duty.
He ate it.
It was a good.
How's your garden coming along?
Well, I made a video the other day about putting fertilizer. I haven't checked it today.
What's in the fertilizer mix that you were saying?
I showed you the other day I don't have it in here now.
That's the one you got when you went to the meeting and the guy was talking about it.
I have paperwork and stuff on it.
What's the main ingredient?
He uses for carbon. He uses 2 different carbons. He uses a fine grade one that's instant, and one that takes a week or so to dissolve. And it's same thing with the calcium and nitrogen.
A slow release and a fast acting kind of.
Yeah, and he says nobody does that nowadays. They do the fast release, or they just do the slow one. They don't
Yeah.
mix it or anything.
Yeah, I think you want a little bit of both. Yeah.
Yeah. After next Wednesday, I'm going to call him up and see if he wants to do an interview. But like I said, I went up and asked him if he wanted to do an interview, and he said, well, he's the only one there. He was the only one running the booth at the moment. And he said, well, I don't have the time because if somebody comes up, I have to answer questions and whatnot. And we sat there, talked for an hour and a half, and I said, I could have had a heck of an interview here.
Yeah.
He said, yeah. And his family has a dairy farm too, and he had a big cooler and he had a bunch of milk, and he said, you want you like chocolate, don't you? And I said, oh yeah. And that's where I got this little milk bottle. Oh, best tasting chocolate milk I've had in a long time.
Uh-huh.
And it wasn't full raw milk because it wasn't pasteurized, but it was heated enough to make it legal, I guess you would say. There's 2 stages. I can't remember which ones it was which, but there are two stages.
Yeah.
There's pasteurization and there's another one. I forget what it was.
Yeah, you can't be drinking black market milk.
Black market milk?
If it's not legal, it would be considered black market.
Oh. Well, in this state we can drink raw milk.
As long as you don't get caught, you can drink what you want around here.
I think you're talking about something else, Jeff.
At the here locally, I went to the outdoor market this past weekend, and man, I can't remember the family's name where I'd give them a shout out, but anyway, they got they sell beef, chicken, they make their own burgers and stuff like that. But they got coolers set up where you can buy whatever you want, but they had the grill going, and they're constantly bringing off pieces of steak, chicken, sausage. You know, man, I'm just standing there. You know what I mean? You say, help yourself. You know?
Probably good for the burger.
Oh, but that steak and the burger. This was at the local outdoor market here in my county. They have every Saturday. But he had these burgers. They were chimichurri burgers they make, which is just their beef that they grind up, and then they put a chimichurri blend in it. But those are pretty good. I got some of those, a pack of those, and a pack of brisket jalapeno burgers, and I got some milk from them. And that was some good milk. That's probably the best milk I've had in a long time.
That's the company right there.
Oh, check that
Now,
out.
I've had milk, but I ain't had no what you call good milk in a long time.
Yeah.
That's the old-fashioned way to plow with horses.
It might not have been the best, but you could definitely taste the difference than what you would get like in your box, you know, your store.
Yeah.
Man, that's beautiful. Check that out.
Yeah.
It got so hot this week. 2 of the pepper plants I have, they were just forming peppers. It burnt the peppers.
Mm.
It was just too hot here. You know what the problem is? It got hot too quickly. It went from being like average and below average to average, then super hot.
Well, we doing this again. It got so hot down here, I saw a turtle crossing the yard with the air conditioner on his back.
Oh, that ain't nothing. It got so hot down here today. I saw a cat chasing a dog, and they were both walking.
Yeah, 100 degrees. There's a reason why it is what it is. 100 degrees is like the dividing line for burning plants, I've noticed, with Christmas trees.
Just most things.
Yeah, there's a point when stuff catches fire.
Yeah.
Here's a flashpoint.
A week ago, I told my wife I can't believe how good the trees look. Like I said before, some little trees, like about 12 of them that I planted, they were like 18 inches, 2 foot tall. Right before my eyes, they were green in the morning. By 4 o'clock, the needles just went from green to brown. They couldn't take the heat.
Well, it's like see who can answer this the fastest. What's the boiling point of water?
212.
That's a sea level. Fahrenheit.
What is it, 120?
No, Jeff or
Two-
Jeff got it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
212.
way off here. There you
But
go.
if you get up, if you were up 2 miles, it would have to be a little higher.
I think it's supposed to be 120 here tomorrow, so I hope it ain't the boiling point.
I don't know. How hot is it outside?
It's
Oh,
6.
right now it's dramatically cooler. I guess in the high 70s, which it would have normally been still in the 90s probably
No,
right now.
must be nice. It's
gonna
still
Well, at 4 o'clock, the water will get to boiling tomorrow.
And Steph Richard was saying about the heat last week. Now it's cool where he is in Oklahoma.
well, you see where they lost all them cars in the ocean.
Uh-uh.
No.
Yeah, they everybody got off ahead of time, but they went back out to see if the ship was still there, evidently, and they witnessed it going down.
Mm.
Where was
What
this
model?
at?
What brand of cars were they?
1,600, or I don't know if it was 1,600 or 16,000 feet.
Where was this at?
Outside of Alaska, because they go up that way to.
Oh, container ship.
Yeah,
Do you know what brand of cars they were? Like what company? They're all different.
no, have no idea. I didn't read too much about it. I just know that, and some people say they offloaded them, and then other people are saying no, they didn't. You know, it's one of those. I think
It's hot enough on to go to Alaska.
a lot of people are saying they didn't offload any because they get in trouble for that. They have to pay a fine. Because even though they're new cars, they still have water and gas in them, or in oil.
Sure, to move them.
Yep. It's about 100 Celsius. 120 was close if you were in Celsius. Okay. Uh-oh. What hit the button again?
Oh, we're going to have to mail him some instructions.
Don't hit the red X. Well, he's on his phone. He might be going and replying to a text message.
Can you hear me now?
Cut you off.
Check,
Sound
mic
like
check.
a commercial. Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Yeah, I was pulling too many G's.
They were headed, and you know why they're going to Mexico, don't you?
No.
It's common sense. They save on the tariffs.
They're tariffs.
Yeah.
Yeah, but where do these cars come from originally? U.S., Europe, or
No, they're
Japan,
China.
oh, China? Okay.
Yeah, they don't go straight across because it's stormy season, so they go up and then down.
Well, I don't need a car made in China.
Well, chances are whatever you're driving now has parts from there.
Not an 03 Silverado.
Oh yeah,
guarantee it.
yeah.
What parts did they put in the 03s that were made in China?
China and Mexico, you got parts in there.
Yeah. You can't get brakes that are made in the United States.
Give me a break.
Brake
Sensors are
pads.
made out of country.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Well, there's a place near us that makes the brake pads. Palmer Industrial. They make brake pads out of cashew oil. Because I know 3 guys that work there.
Cashew?
They use cashew oil to make the brake pads.
Huh. I wonder what that does. So what's the purpose? Must
Well,
be
they
some
take
type of hardener or something.
oil and they bake it, and that's how they make the brake pads. And my friend has to wear a toxic waste outfit for like 10 hours a day with a breathing apparatus because of all the stuff in the air.
Maybe that's why the squirrels went after Jeff's gas lines.
Oh,
Trying to
dang.
eat out his brakes, and oops, wrong line.
And I don't know where they get the cashew oil from. It comes in big drums.
They get it from cashews.
We get cashews from Thailand, Vietnam, all these
Spain.
Asian countries.
Yeah.
Yeah, more tropical.
Spain is the biggest producer.
Grace, are you saying there's a little bit of a hoedown there in the city?
Yeah, I'm wanting to know why.
What's going on in New York City, Grace?
It's the weekend.
Ship video.
Like this, not to change the subject. This was a good day.
Yeah, I can't put nothing up on.
All the Supreme Court rulings were good.
Yeah, I was gonna go look at the news and stuff, but I got that thing. Why is that thing still on there?
I see Amy Comey Barrett and Miss Jackson got into it today.
Yeah, I was going to look at the news, and then I started getting into the percentages and stuff. And you can also get into the searches for West Coast. If you go to West Coast, it is nuts. There's hardly anybody that there may be maybe 5% of people have more food than 3 days in California. I was like, holy moly.
You think they would have, it's like when I buy dog food, I get a 45-pound bag and that lasts a while.
Yeah, 25 pound. I get it twice a month for the cats.
Yeah.
And they only eat once a day. They don't have a bowl out there where they just munch it all day long.
When Holly wants fed, Paul and I both know it. She gets lunch and dinner, and then there's snacks later.
Well, their feeding time is 5 o'clock. Now, they come and tell me at 3 o'clock that it's almost time for dinner. And they'll all sit here and, like, if I'm on the computer working, they'll all sit on my bed and stare at me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, guys, you got an hour and a half yet. And they'll stare at me. And if I get up like this to adjust, they all start running out like they're getting ready to get fed.
They have a born-in clock, these pets. Holly, like, because we couldn't work today with the weather, she starts getting antsy at 4 o'clock, and it drives my wife nuts.
Yeah.
Because if we're out here working, she doesn't get her dinner till almost 6 o'clock. Pets have their owners trained well, if you ask me.
Oh, yeah. You don't have Maya with you. You
Does
better.
Eric's dog do the same thing? Does Jack do the same thing?
What's that?
Let you know he wants his dinner.
Do what?
Does he get antsy like an hour before dinner?
He wants dinner 24. He wants dinner 24/7.
Yeah.
You know, he don't get it though. He's a good boy though. He lets me know when he needs to go out. Like, never since I adopted him. I guess I've had him 9 years now. He's never had an accident, so he's a pretty good guy.
Yeah, I've seen that quite a bit going on for the last week or longer. Um, like I used to be able to go in a store and I'd still have a signal. I the signal is so bad for my cell phone now that when I go in a store, my cell phone's off basically because I can't use it. And usually I'll like if I go to Goodwill, I turn my phone off and go in, and then when I leave, I turn it back on. That way, I don't have to. It doesn't have to start scanning for the data and stuff or my signal.
Yeah, because they could be eavesdropping into your cell phone.
Oh, they already do that. That's been going on
Yeah.
for a while.
Yeah, be charming. This morning the internet was slow. Then it got better after lunch.
Yeah, mine's supposed to be 600 megabyte download, and I haven't been maybe 400 megabytes.
Mm.
I didn't know Be Charming did lumber pickups at Lowe's.
Well, if she wants wood,
I
that's
wonder what
probably
she's
where
doing with the wood.
building more beehives.
Mhm.
Well, I bet this past week you sweated through your clothing in no time at Royal King.
Oh yeah, that's a given.
Because I took off Monday. I couldn't believe mowing Wednesday. My clothes were completely sweated through just sitting on the Kubota mowing.
Yeah, this time of well, always, but especially this time of year, I always keep an extra change of everything with me.
Yesterday or the day before it was 117 on the
Parking lot, macadam.
in the parking lot, and
Mm.
you well they're kind of they're still tan, but it was my legs got really burnt, and it was just from it was heat burns, not like a sunburn or anything.
Yeah.
Hey, trying to find clothing, pants to wear in the hot weather is an ordeal. You used to 30 years ago, you used to be able to get polyester thin pants. You can't get them anywhere anymore.
I wear cargo shorts.
Okay, Jeff,
I
be
can't
careful.
I don't know nothing about polyester pants.
I did
Maybe back in the, I don't know.
70s.
Like a leisure suit.
Yeah, with bell bottoms and
I got some at Walmart back in the 90s, and they lasted longer than cotton, plus they're thinner. They're over here. I'll show you guys.
They still made them in the 90s.
They still made them in the 90s.
Oh wow.
you get dressed up in all that polyester, you're gonna look like Huggy Bear on Starsky Nuts.
Was it made by Adidas?
Call you boss hog.
Jim, were they made by Adidas?
I don't think I think my wife put them upstairs. Now that it just said Walmart on them. Faded
She probably trying to hide them. He will never wear these again.
She donated them things.
The neighbors saw him in them. No.
My main thing is, well, it's a good thing I kept shorts from years ago because my belt, when you put it on, it feeds inward. So it's like this. So I'm having a hard time because it's wrapped all the way around the backside of me. So at one point it gets too hard to close up anymore. So most of my stuff is really loose. So I'm having a hard time with keeping my pants up or my shorts up.
That could be a problem at work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Start shedding off them winter pounds.
Well, I've probably lost over 100 pounds by now since but this week I probably put on some. Well, last week and this week I probably put on some
I think
weight.
I found 20 pounds of it. I found it for you.
Because I went and did the Amish food and had ice cream and custard and all kinds of yummy stuff. And
that's worth it, though.
Yeah,
There's Jim's pants.
I've been wearing these on the hottest days. These things I've been wearing on and off for almost 30 years. These things have lasted. Other cotton pants, I wore them one summer and they're torn in no time. I can't have my legs exposed outside between the Hornets and Yellow Jackets.
Mm-hmm.
And you can put and they have the belt loop. This was Faded Glory brand.
Faded Glory.
Yep.
I remember that.
You can't even read the label. It's completely like the ink's gone. I mean, nobody makes anything to last anymore. And who would believe? I mean, I only wear these like a few weeks out of the year.
Yeah, I've got.
I mean, polyester's
maybe 3 pair of pants, and they're jeans and one's Carhartt.
Another thing, okay. Fruit of the Loom used to make cotton polyester T-shirts, Golden Blend. This thing I'm wearing, this thing is old. It's got holes in it because I thought it was going to work today. The cotton polyester lasts way longer than cotton. They discontinued using polyester in most stuff because they want the clothing to wear it quicker, so you have to replace it sooner.
Although I do still have a pair of leather pants that I still have not put on. My wife bought them like probably
we don't need to do that.
30 years ago. And I still haven't put them on.
Yeah, when you were on the road following rock groups and stuff.
No. It was when we first started going out, and then a certain somebody, we went and seen somebody else at a concert, and there was somebody else there. It was Belinda Carlisle, and she remembered me, which I didn't. I still had long hair, but it was a lot shorter. It was like to the middle of my back, and she recognized me, and she came up and started hugging on me, and I'm like, oh my God. And after that, I was not allowed to do bands or anything like that. I didn't know to her, and then I had to tell her the story. And
oh boy, is this when she went out on her own, or when she was in the group?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I met her and the band, the Go-Go's, and then the next year, she broke out on her own, and that's when we had our little thing, or whatever you want to call it.
A little romance.
When there was no romance in it. But I hung out with the whole band and everything at that time. And we got to know each other a little bit, but not much, because they didn't have a layover or anything like that. And then when she came and was doing her thing with Tiffany on tour, and then they had a 2-week layover that they were supposed to go to LA after that, after Phoenix. And that's when, stuff happened. And then like I said, in the early 90s, that's when we went to a concert, and she was there for signing something or something like that, and she recognized me. And
an impression on her.
What did you think of
that was not a good thing, though.
You remember?
Me and my wife weren't married at the time, but
Oh,
yeah, it's still not a good thing when another woman comes up on you and starts jumping on you and stuff.
Did you meet Jane Wielden, the
Jane,
little short one?
oh, I tried. I met her, but
yeah,
I tried other. I don't want to go into this.
oh, I'm wondering if
I ended up with the drummer. I still don't know what her name was.
I got a question for Bushcraft, but doesn't have to answer it. Do you have any musical talent? Do you play any instruments?
The drums. I don't know how to read a note, but because we were more of a cover band, but we did have 2 other songs. One got ripped off because we didn't know what we were doing. And I'll even tell you who ripped one of them off. It was Rat. Of all people. Yeah, we were like, ooh, it's Rat, and we opened for a band called Y&T, which is, they actually made it to MTV, but that's our big accomplishment. But our biggest song that got requested the most was Stairway to Heaven, because lead singer Robert, you could close your eyes and you couldn't tell the difference. It was like the lead singer of Led Zeppelin was sitting right there.
Yeah.
Now, guitarist wasn't the best, and if for some reason something was thrown up on stage and stuff, it would throw him off, and then he'd be there stomping his feet until he got back in the rhythm again, and he would kick in. So at certain points, the lead guitarist would stop playing because any little thing would throw him off.
Well, Stairway to Heaven is a better name than if they named it Stairway to Hell.
Why? No, that wouldn't make sense. But yeah, that's a. I still love listening to that song. I love a lot of Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
And one of the most overlooked at the time it came out Led Zeppelin albums, which is one of my favorite, is Led Zeppelin 3. I got a moth in here too.
You know who's a real good cover band? Halocene. I don't know if you've ever heard of them or not. They do a lot of good covers, including Stairway to Heaven.
Yeah,
good version, but Led Zeppelin is the best.
There's this girl on TikTok, and she does the same song all the time because she does it really good. And she made a video because everybody says that she sounds like Tommy Pickles. If you don't, on Rugrats, the little cartoon in the 90s, and I think she sounds really good. I'm sitting there closing my eyes trying to picture Tommy Pickles singing it, but it's not the same. Only thing I don't like about her is it's one of those shave the eyebrows and then paint them back on thing. I was never a fan of that.
I'll tell you, you don't hear it on the radio, even on classic stations, but the live version of Stairway to Heaven I prefer even over the studio. Like the one from...
Well, it depends where.
Well, the one from Song Remains the Same.
Well, I mean, what concert? Because there's a couple where I'm surprised he stood up on stage.
Yeah, when Song Remains the Same came out, it was on a 2-record album from Madison Square Garden. I think it was 72 or 73 it was recorded. That's better than live at Nebworth.
But you also got to remember too, the sound systems today are so much better than back then.
Oh yeah.
You know, the clarity and frequencies.
But you figure anything they do live at concert, that's just going right from the soundboard.
Oh yeah, there's difference between that and studio, but sometimes when they do live, live albums, they're redone. It's just not, what you get from the concert. They're already like a sound stage in the back recording it. Plus they get redone.
Auto-tune.
Yeah.
That's a sign of a real good artist, though, that sounds exactly like he or she sounds like on a recorded album.
Yeah.
When they can match that pitch, match everything, that's talent.
But there's two groups that can never do it live like studio. The two groups that couldn't do it live like studio is Steely Dan and Alan Parsons Project, because everything was done. You figure a lot of the Steely Dan, they had different artists playing. They may have had 100 different guys try out for a lead guitar, playing with Walter Becker's music, and a lot of the stuff you hear on all the Steely Dan music is basically stuff that was just put together in the studio. The same with Alan Parsons.
Well, yeah. Well, there's a lot of that nowadays, that the auto tune and, they make them sound better than they actually are.
And the thing is, you got to do some compression. My son told me, if you don't compress the percussion, it doesn't come out right. That's one area you can't live with it. You can't live without it.
Well, nowadays, yeah, but in the past, it all depended what kind of mics you put in your drums.
Right.
Nowadays, it's all digital and stuff.
You ever seen an old video of Buddy Rich on his set? That dude's off the chain, and he didn't have all of that, special sound system and all that. I mean,
sometimes it's just a mic under the drum.
I was checking out Phil Collins the other day on YouTube before, his physical and mental decline and all that. And he was a hell of a drummer.
Yeah,
I mean, that with anybody.
That short, and I'm not saying anything bad about short people, but he's short. Yeah. And it's hard. Well, they say it's harder to play when you have short legs and whatnot.
And it's said that's why Peter Gabriel hired him for the band, was because not just his singing, but the singing drumming combination. And it's not easy. It's not easy to sing and drum.
That looking it up. Anybody remember that song "Short People"? I'm trying to think of the guy that wrote that and sung it. That was a big hit.
That Short People. That's the guy out of California. He sings "We Love It, L.A." Randy something. Randy Newman.
Randy Newman.
Trying to work my brain tonight, huh, there, James?
Tonight, years ago, my son and I downloaded music and made CDs on our first computer. And tonight I played 2 songs my wife doesn't like at all. "Seasons of the Sun" from Terry Jacks, and for some reason she doesn't like Jerry Rafferty's "Baker Street," because I was blasting it.
Baker Street is a classic.
I know. Where is Baker Street though?
In every state.
Like in every city.
Yeah.
Oh, I was watching something the other day about Sylvester Stallone was talking about the worst movies he's ever made and stuff.
Yeah, he's made some bad ones.
No, not that kind, but
No, but I mean, there were some movies that weren't as good that he made.
no, it was not that type of bad movie. It's him making the movie. It was bad, and it was Rocky 3. He almost died
How?
from getting punched by Mr. T.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, bruised his heart, and it wasn't a full punch. It was, it's just a miscue, but he was, and there's parts in there if you watch afterwards, where you can see him grimacing and stuff. It's because he still had bruised ribs and his heart was bruised. And the other part was Hulk Hogan.
Oh yeah, in the first Rocky, he picked him up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Mr. T isn't really that big a dude. He's only 5'10", and Sylvester Stallone's only 5'9", regardless.
I pity the fool.
Regardless of what the internet says. Just like I don't care what the internet says. Chuck Norris, I think, is only 5'8" and a half at the most. If you look at him with Bruce Lee, Enter the Dragon, I think they glued chest hair on Chuck Norris.
No, he's a hairy person.
But that hair that looked out of place too much, like in the upper pecs.
Some say he was born with it.
Yeah, you should know that
Allegedly.
You can't cut the chest hairs off of Chuck Norris.
He's a bad man.
But I dislike Chuck Norris because of stuff he said about Bruce and
yeah.
And I have one of the best sources that it came from. He used to say he was better than Bruce. Oh, Bruce Lee was not that fast and whatnot. And I haven't talked to her in a long time, but I used to talk to Shannon, his daughter. And now she probably didn't know the whole story in it because she was still pretty young, but her mom knows all that stuff. And there were a bunch of lies that Chuck Norris said about Bruce.
But Bruce Lee was never he was an actor. He was never a world champion karate title like Chuck Norris.
He was good. He studied all his life.
There was any tournaments though like that.
Yeah, he did.
What tournaments was he a world champion then, Bruce Lee?
No, I didn't say he wasn't a champion, but he went to tournaments. Oh, he left already again. You can look in the he opened tournaments and stuff with the stuff he did. The 1-inch punch and stuff like that he drove people across the floor with. There you go. I went to click and you were already gone.
To be fair, Chuck Norris was world champion 4 years in a row, which was unheard of. Consecutively.
They say when he turned 17, he made his parents move out.
And Chuck Norris his mother had him at a very young age.
Yeah, but to this day, the MMA are still using the holds and the technique that Bruce Lee invented. It's still today you see it. The arm bar. There's so many different ones that are used that he invented. Most of it was when he was in the traction thing when he broke his back.
Yeah.
Was never supposed to walk again.
Okay, that's happened to quite a few people. There's a guy I know. He came out a couple years in a row and bought a tree. This guy, his name is Lenny Mortelli. They have a foundation named after him. He severed his spinal cord at a skiing when he was skiing when he was in high school at Spring Mountain in Schwenksville. Today, the guy can walk around. He was never supposed to walk again. The guy can walk around, and he still has to use a cane. But he's a miracle story.
Yeah, this was because Bruce Lee was teaching white people martial arts, and it was his own style. That's the thing. It was mixture, but it was still his own style. And the movie says it was one guy. It was actually 6 guys that were sent to take him out, and one of them broke his back.
Not until David Carradine did the TV series Kung Fu did anybody in this country really even knew about that type of, fighting technique, martial arts.
Yeah, they did.
It wasn't not on a big scale though.
Yeah, it was. That's where Bruce Lee got his start. What show was it? I know Eric knows.
Green Hornet.
Green Hornet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Bruce Lee was supposed to be the actor, and he got screwed out of that.
Yeah, but I think David Carradine was a better choice because Bruce Lee didn't speak English this fluently, and having a guy looking like this, having the lead character being half white and half Chinese is different than being pure Chinese and being a really short man.
What do you
I've
think
watched
of
a lot of videos.
They said there's a curse on that family.
Well,
yeah.
I've watched a lot of videos where the people from Hollywood that were involved with the show was saying there's no way Bruce Lee could have done it because his English was so bad. The audiences wouldn't have been able to understand him very well.
Well, he was a lot better than what he was portrayed in the Green Hornet, because it was meant to be, more Oriental than it was. Because there was another part. Jerry Lewis. I think no, it wasn't Jerry Lewis. There's a little bald dude. I forgot his name.
Don Rickles?
No, he played. He played a Chinese person, and he made fun of him.
You're thinking of Peter Lorre.
Was it that? I don't know.
Jerry Lewis looked like he was Chinese in The Nutty Professor.
But that was how they told him to portray
Kano and Green Hornet.
Yeah, his character to be more Oriental. And as you've seen on Kung Fu, he talked slower, but there wasn't hardly any, you couldn't, it was way more English.
And you got to remember, David Carradine's character, most of the Chinese people in this country back in those days, they couldn't read or write English.
I personally like the Kill Bill series.
Oh, yeah, that was good.
And it amazes me, because I've watched that, reruns on Pluto when it's been on. When I was a kid, I was thinking, why do all these people in the Old West think David Carradine's half Chinese? Because he looks white to me. He doesn't look like he has any Asian in him.
Well, he was that's what he was portrayed to be. Shaolin monk, Oh, there went Watt again. He's having a hard time today.
Now, there's no way Tim Conway could do that, Grace.
He does Dorf on golf though, pretty good.
Imagine Tim Conway trying to do a martial arts character.
Welcome back again. What?
Pretty
Tim
sensitive.
Conway is quite champagne. No way.
Yeah, I like what's her name? On Kill Bill.
Uma Thurman.
Oh, Uma Thurman?
No.
Lucy Lee?
Huh?
Lucy Lee?
Yeah.
Or Lucy
So
Liu?
Lucy Liu or
Yeah.
Liu. She's Chinese. And then there's Daryl Hannah. Ended up losing her second eye.
I'm surprised they don't try to do a remake of Kung Fu.
They did.
With what? Well, they did Kung Fu: The Legend Continues. That actually was on longer than the original Kung Fu.
Yeah, but that
No,
was
this was 2 years ago. They did Kung Fu.
What, on Netflix or something?
No, it's on CW.
Okay.
It was a girl. It was actually pretty good until they went wonky with it, supernatural stuff and whatnot.
You figure they didn't allow females to be Shaolin priests. You figure there was that one episode of the original Kung Fu where a woman wanted to become a Shaolin priest and she got killed at the end.
Yeah, everyone's internet's acting up.
Yeah, I think everybody's internet's having issues. The last few days, mine's been wonky. Well, on my phone and on here,
Must
but
be the sun.
mine's wired for the because I used to stream in games, so you don't want Wi-Fi for that. Yeah, I wonder if that'd be a good show or a good movie to watch again. Would be Kill Bill.
Well, both of them were good.
Yeah.
Quentin doesn't make bad movies. He's a nut job, but he don't make bad movies.
Well, you notice some of the wonky ones make really good movies.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, everybody said that the vampire one was an awful movie. And I'm like, really? I thought that was good.
Dawn? That was an awesome movie.
I thought that was really good.
Especially Salma Hayek up on the
I knew you was going to say
Python.
that. Yeah. And the belt buckle.
That snake was bigger than her.
Oh
yeah, with the revolver popped out with the belt buckle.
Yeah, he's the special effects guy that did all the zombies.
Danny Trejo was in that too.
Oh man, I let him loose. Thought he squished him enough.
Yeah, I was thinking today with the Supreme Court's rulings. Let's say a being from another planet came to Earth, and they had offspring, either born or eggs that are hatched. Would that give a being from another planet's offspring Earthright citizenship?
But you're comparing apples to oranges now. You're talking about something that we haven't seen as a group of people versus regular people.
But if aliens come to Earth and they start having offspring, are they going to be considered Earth citizens next?
Well, it wouldn't be citizen.
No.
Maybe an Earthling.
These are things the court might have to ponder.
They'd still be an extraterrestrial.
Yeah.
But
See, this can have long-term repercussions.
what, from aliens? Are you kidding me?
Earthright citizenship.
Oh my God, Jim. We're trying to get our country back, and you're worried about aliens.
Well, it's hard enough to kick the illegals out, let alone the aliens.
Well, there's nothing wrong with immigration as long as it's done legally.
Legally.
Life with Bobby, you mean, is, you know, like the way 101 does when he's watching a video. 2 seconds and he pauses it and talks about it for 20 minutes and then plays it and then, oh, wait a minute, let's go back and watch that again.
I think it should come down to your planet and country of origin.
So if they come from Mars, they're citizens of Mars, they're just visiting?
Unless they get a visa.
Well, I don't care what planet they come to. Florida's closed.
You figure just in the 60s, they still thought there was life from Mars. You look at some of the classic Doctor Who episodes and the sci-fi movies.
Yeah, but it's never good when an alien comes to Earth. So
No, it's never good.
never. Well, you know, Star Wars. Earth was in Star Wars too.
Which planet was Earth in Star Wars?
Earth.
When did they mention Earth in the original Star Wars?
Well, it's in, I think, the 3rd book.
I mean the movie, not the book.
Well, it's still considered the same, because they're you realize it's just not movies. There's mini series. There's well, they don't try to mention this, but because it was very bad. But there's a Christmas special.
They celebrated Christmas in Star Wars. I never knew that. No, I think Empire Strikes Out.
Well, if you ask any of them,
Strikes Out.
if you ask any of them that are still alive about the Star Wars Christmas special, they'll deny it because it wasn't good.
I mean, I hate how things don't parallel. Just like the Star Trek series, there's movies.
No, wait a minute. You're not going to be busting on TOS, are you?
I love Star Trek, but look, in the new movies, the planet Vulcan got destroyed. They changed the storyline. I go by the original Star Trek.
I get that, but they changed the storyline in Halloween. They changed the storyline with Freddy Krueger. They're always doing that. They've got to reinvent so they can make money at the box office.
Plus, there's time travel, so they can go back and change it. I mean, and actually, the series should start back. Should start back up. Oh, don't even mention the last 3 movies.
Wait, which series is going to start up?
Well, there's a reason behind the last 3 movies, but
yeah, that woman.
And everybody says, you know, Rey's thing, and I like the other stories, the other characters better than hers, and she's the main focus. But like Finn and a couple others, and on the 2nd and 3rd ones, that they had better side characters were better stories than the main story.
Well, I've watched clips of Picard on YouTube a few times. How did 7 of 9 become president of Earth?
You didn't watch it?
Because I don't have time to be watching Netflix. But I think
it's not on Netflix.
What is Picard on then? Paramount?
Paramount Plus, yeah.
We might get that. I don't even know.
Well, I got it for free, so I watch all the Star Trek stuff, but it didn't really happen, but it did.
That's
They messed the timeline up, so they had to go back and fix it. And when they did, she was president. That was with all of the gadgets removed and stuff.
yeah. Then the board coins try to help Picard restore the timeline.
Yeah, that 2-season thing was pretty good. I mean, it kind of threw monkey wrenches in some of the timelines and stuff, but a lot of it was pretty good.
I heard they're trying to bring Kirk back.
Yeah, then you figure the first time travel episode is from the first series, the first season. Tomorrow is yesterday, where
they jump through that circle with the fog and the mist and all that.
Yeah. And then it was the movie where they around the Earth.
Yeah, they had the slingshot around the sun.
Yeah.
With the Klingon bird of prey.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I don't think aliens are going to come to our planet to be nice. I think they're going to come here for ulterior motives.
How do you know they're not already here?
Yeah.
Well, they're probably.
I'm not an alien.
The one chick up in New York, not you, Grace. the donkey lady, I forget.
Oh,
the donkey
AOC.
Oh, that the donkey.
Oh, I'm thinking maybe.
No, it's Gollum.
Bigfoot's an alien. Maybe Bigfoot's an alien, just like from the Bionic Man, Bionic Woman crossover episodes. How aliens came here and Bigfoot was a cyborg. Because I know Lake's always looking for Bigfoot. Well, how do we know Bigfoot isn't some kind of cyborg that was left behind from aliens?
Bigfoot is real. He time travels through portals.
What size shit does Bigfoot wear?
They vary just like human beings. But yeah, like AOC or not AOC, Gollum. She's going to be. She might be the front runner in 2028. You watch.
Oh, the stuff I heard. The I don't know if it's the mayor or the governor was trying to pass for New York. Ooh.
No, it's his ideas. He was in a primary. He was a socialist. Oh yeah, he's a socialist.
Yeah, I wish I kept that list.
They said that Cuomo is going to run as an independent in the general election.
Oh,
and I don't know who the Republicans are putting up. I have no idea. They had to put Rudy back up there.
What shoe size is Shaq? 17 or 18 or something like that. It's way up there. Oh, did he drop?
Yeah, he dropped, but he lost the primary, but he said he's going to run as an independent unless that's changed.
To be fair, it's the people that put, what is his name, Mandini or whatever, for the Democrat nomination. It's white college educated people like my niece and
22.
My niece's age and her husband.
He wears size 22 shoes.
Yeah, they're the younger group. Yep. But I mean, the man wants to abolish the police department.
Yep.
Yeah, that's one of the things. Yeah.
He wants no more private medical insurance.
Yeah.
So guess what? You're not standing in line waiting for an hour. Now you're going to wait for 3 hours.
Yeah, hospitals will leave.
They're not going to make any money.
Doctors, they'll leave.
Quality health care will go right down the pooper.
Yeah.
Hospitals in this area closed because they went bankrupt, and the judge ordered them to stay open, and then the judge had to give in. They ran out of money. One was Chester Crozier, and another one on the edge of Philadelphia. these hospitals are going bankrupt. And then the thing is, if they went, the guy in New York, okay, he wants the government to own the grocery stores. That means the government controls the food supply. I've met a woman. She came to my house last year from Manhattan, doing a poll, trying to persuade people to vote for Trump. And one of her parents were born in China. And she said, the system they have in China, you have a card. If you go to the store and you try to buy too much of any item, they won't let you buy it.
Oh yeah.
The Chinese government, you can't stock up on stuff. Once they control the food, they control the population.
They've already got control, though, Jim.
Mm-hmm.
They've got if you come over here as a student and you start being pro-American or whatever, they know who your family is back home.
Oh yeah.
And they'll get to them.
Every absolutely. It's like the mob. You know? I mean, that's
Well, the mafia is better than the government in a lot of ways.
Sure. Well, the government is the mafia, but whatever.
Well, I'd say kind of say they're the same thing because
Yeah.
they want somebody gone, they got them.
My wife is full-blooded Italian. I heard stories from my father-in-law when he was alive, where you figure the mafia kept the Italian family safe. And then it got to the point where the Italians and the Irish and the Polish, you know, the boys and girls started dating, and then things calmed down. You figure, just like that movie, Gangs of New York, you know, there was hatred between people that came from here from one country in Europe versus another country. And a lot of it had to do with competition over getting jobs.
Yep.
And you figure, when Italian people came over here, they had skills. My father-in-law, he was a stonemason. He learned the trade at a young age. It was actually his father. Both of my wife's grandparents came over here in the early 1900s.
But they came over the right way through Ellis
They
Island.
came over the right way, yep.
Yeah.
Legally. Where people were quarantined. Because my wife's ancestors, they came in from Italy and landed in Boston. And there was like a quarantine for smallpox back then.
Yeah.
I think it was 1905.
Well, my family was already here. not Indian, but they're, even though I have Indian, I forget which kind, but a little bit. But
What part of the country?
well, see, I don't.
What state?
There's my grandpa says it's Apache, but I don't remember anybody being out there. Well, it was one of our relatives had blonde hair, and one of the chiefs never seen it before, so he took the kid.
Wow.
That's the story it goes, but somewhere
That sounds like Pawnee doing that.
Somewhere down the line, it was because we had already been here for. I'm not saying we came over with the Mayflower or anything like that, but
The Pinto or Santa Maria.
Goes back. We fought the French, even though we were French.
French Indian War in 1754, I guess it was.
Hey, B, you got to stop stealing my tater chips.
I showed you guys my family tree once. I put it in chat. Like, my ancestors lived in Virginia, and then they moved to Kentucky. Carrollton, Kentucky.
Yeah, that's where we originally our trees. I don't know past that. It was Rollo and one of the princesses from France. That was the deal Rollo made to put up a defense and it wasn't, I don't think it was Paris, but it was one of the ports that before they got to Paris or something like that. And he ended up staying there in France. And that's where our family started at from there. Was a mix from Vikings and French.
Yep.
Because the person, I did a search and I would never do Ancestry.com. A certain family member did, and they go by newspaper articles for one thing to track down family. Like, if you know some of your ancestors, you can just type in their name and it'll take you to the cemetery where they were buried, and then it'll show you their ancestors. And if you get the name in the cemetery, you can go back to the late 1700s.
Well, sometimes they try to hide that stuff, and it's a lot harder.
It all depends on each family. If each family had people that were considered prominent in history.
So Grace is saying Abbott just banned China, Mother Russia, Iran, and Kim Jong-un's from buying land. You shouldn't be able to buy any land, not just in Texas, nowhere.
No, you should be
those countries.
Should be a citizen for so many years before you buy it.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of, the ports, the ports in the LA, the money they make on that goes back to China for what?
Defense.
Huh?
Building defense.
Oh, yeah. It's for their military.
Yeah.
That should never be a thing. Why should we be paying for their military?
Greed.
Yeah.
You figure the $1 trillion trade deficit we had last year, that was basically China's whole military budget.
This year at the summit, it wasn't that hot, and I still had issues with the camera overheating, the GoPro. Even my battery with the cell phone, it died out really quick. But I think I got probably a good almost 45 minutes of content, and then it died out. I was really surprised. I didn't hardly get any views on the thing about the beef. I thought when I was listening to it, I was really engaged in that conversation, listening to the data and stuff that he had brought. It was really interesting, and different types of fat, and of course, like he said, he could show data from the scientists that say the fat from cows is wonderful for you, but another guy in the audience could show you other data that another scientist says it's bad for you. So that's where we're at, is like, whose data do you believe nowadays?
Then you got to look at the person's diet. Like when I was growing up as a kid, my mother, she never cooked food with olive oil, and she never used garlic. Certain backgrounds of people just didn't use that. And like tonight I had shrimp with breadcrumbs just smothered in olive oil. Like the English people, German, French, they didn't really use olive oil like the Italians did. Their food was more bland. But the stuff my wife makes is completely different than anything my mother ever made.
Yeah, there was they found those the weight were they called waystones, I think, with the Viking symbols and stuff way back before Columbus ever got around here.
Well, with the Lake's talking about the Vikings, Northmen. There's
Uh,
so many different ways to
life,
spell the name too. This is
life with Bobby was talking about when they're 1362.
Actually,
yeah.
through the search of the family tree, I found out why certain people in my family have
Yeah, runes. That's what it was. Runes.
like one thing society is trying to erase, which I don't approve of at all, is people's history.
Warrior of the Woods. Well, I'd rather be out in the woods than out in the city somewhere.
Yeah, Grace is right. Just
Look
like the
up
thing over the family, when men were men.
Runestones. Yeah, that's probably the thing I was talking about. I can't remember exactly when it was, but before we get close out here at 11.
Oh, I got one for you. This is off of the website The Bump. Eric, ERIC, baby name meaning, origin and popularity. Meaning sole ruler, eternal ruler, both royal and rugged. Eric is a masculine name of Norseman, soaked in Viking lore and badassery. That's right from Mr. Google. The name has its roots in Scandinavian Germanic cultures and is associated with historical figures like Eric the Red.
I was going to say, yeah, Eric the Red is one of the most famous.
Now, I don't claim to be an eternal ruler either. I'm just me. So just, that's just Mr. Google.
Yeah, I'll be live Monday for our normal shenanigans, but Wednesday I will have a special guest. She's an herbalist and stuff. She was selling a lot of her own concoctions of herbs at the food summit we was at. And the first time I came around, I was talking to her friend, and her friend was going off on how awesome these herbs were, and talking about her friend and everything. Then I came back around again when she wasn't busy talking, and talked to her for a good bit, and emailed her the other day, and she's all ready to do the interview. Cool. So imagine it will be a very good interview.
And this is this Monday at 8?
No, Mondays are at 7 to 9, but her interview is on Wednesday at 8 o'clock. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna try to keep the interviews on Wednesdays.
I see.
Unless I get overbooked, and then I'll squeeze it in on another day or something. Yeah, I was hoping I didn't send you guys the wrong invite for tonight, because I have multiples scheduled.
Well, it doesn't explain why I had a problem getting here the first time, where it was just audio and no video. That's weird.
Oh, that was just you, Jim.
Just me.
Jim, we're going to send you a care package. It's going to be a
live
desktop.
next week with Samantha.
Sometimes I'm lucky just to get here. Do you think any of your ancestors?
You can spend $80, $90 and get a refurbished desktop on eBay.
The computer works fine. It's only 11 years old. We haven't got. It's 11 years old this October. It works fine.
Sure.
My vision. No way I'll go a desktop. Well, a laptop. It's got it because.
Well, get a refurbished laptop. There's nothing wrong with that.
When you go to open a website, say you're going to YouTube, how long does it take you before it pops up?
No time at all.
Well, no time at all. Is it like 5 minutes?
No, just like a couple seconds maybe.
Oh, well, that's one thing that irritates the heck out of me when I have to wait for something to load. Mine's instant. So if I click on a link, it's
poof.
there.
Right there. Poof. Yep, that's what I like. I don't like the death spiral watching that.
Oh, waiting for a picture to load.
It's like old dial-up.
Yeah.
I remember when we had that in the early 2000s.
Yeah, I remember dial-up in the late 80s.
Because then you'd miss phone calls. And now the only phone calls we got are telemarketers.
Oh, God, don't even go there. I got someone, hey, Grace, I need your help. I got somebody calling me out of New York, not the city or the 4 boroughs, because the 5 boroughs, but the area codes they're all over the place.
If you have trouble with
and they call back with another number, and I block that number. It's just an ongoing saga.
Well, if you have trouble with a number and you don't want to block it for whatever reason, just copy the number down and give it to Grace, and she'll get rid of them.
Call them.
What's annoying me more than anything is, say I look up a stock on the internet, and I'm going to some financial website. The next day, I'm getting emails that are spam, just from going to their website, looking at the stock price.
Because they watch where you go.
It's called cookies.
Yep. It's called Big Brother.
It does take a long time to relog back into Gmail, into Google. After I clear the history. I clear the history like once a week on Safari. Because I use Safari and my wife uses Firefox. But for this, I have to use Firefox.
That's the antiquated processor in that unit.
And I was looking at mini Macs. One day we'll get one. We're going to wait till this thing doesn't work anymore. The price of the mini Macs haven't gone up more than $40 in 11 years.
Well, I'm on a refurbished laptop, and I'm not too proud to say it. I mean, who cares? It does its job. It's fast.
Well, I got mine. I got my gaming channel actually was sponsored by, what is it? I forget what the name of it is. I'm horrible because they never gave me the information to put on my website or anything. But I got 50% off of the computer. So I built it. Well, they built it. And it was like $250 for shipping to send it to me, because the case itself probably weighs about 120 pounds. But in about 6 months after I had got the computer, because I got the latest and greatest video card, they offered me $5,000 for the video card and told me they would give me the latest one. This is a special video card that you can overclock faster than the newest ones that are out there now.
Nice.
And I still haven't overclocked it because I don't need to. I don't need it because, like, playing World of Warcraft, I get over 200 frames per second on the highest setting, which is, there's only a few people that run their computers that high. Now it heats up quite a bit, in the hundreds of degrees Fahrenheit. The video card itself, because it pushes a lot. I mean, I've had computers that my video card has a better processor than computers that I've had. That's how, and it's got more RAM in it than I've had computers.
The thing I hate about getting a new computer is you figure people have so many user accounts trying to relog into that stuff, and then they get it to recognize you.
Well, you should never have this stuff recognize you on a computer.
Yeah, but well, the thing is, like, say you log into a website like Hi-Fi Haven or Audio Karma, because the computer has the password and usernames.
You're asking to be hacked. You
Yeah.
never store passwords on your computer.
There's too many of them. Places we buy stuff from.
That's what your brain's for. You keep you never
or a notepad.
Yeah, you could. I just memorize it.
There's too many though, because say you want to log into a certain website, it won't accept your password. It wants to use a suggested one because it doesn't have enough. They say it's not strong enough password.
Well, you make a strong enough password. I use caps, numbers,
uppercase, lowercase,
symbols.
Yep.
And my passwords are at least 12 to 14 long.
There, you look at Grace put password notebook, 79 cents.
There you go.
Once I needed to buy a fungicide online from a place I bought it from for years after we got a new computer, and I couldn't do it because it already had my user information, and I forgot what the password was.
Well, if you do forget a password, there's a little button. There's a little link that says, forgot your password.
Yeah, but it wouldn't send me an email because it didn't somehow because of just changing. I couldn't get back into the account ever again.
Oh, see, I have, let's see, on this computer, right on this client, Outlook Express, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 14 emails. Right. And I know every password and every user account on those passwords. I never write it down. I have the same password on probably 30% of them. Some passwords, like on some games, because you have to log into a game, user and password. I use different passwords for those. Websites and games, I use 2 different passwords and user accounts for that.
Well, just to use Facebook chat now, because I don't have the account, it's a 2-step process. So to use the Facebook, to get the PIN number, my wife uses the code 123456.
And you just told everybody on the internet.
Everybody knows her password and username to get in the account, so it doesn't matter.
You just lost your 9 p.m. start privilege to 11.
But I talk to my sister every now and then. That's how I found out. My sister has Lyme's disease again, a bullseye on her thigh, and her husband fell going down the root cellar and had a unit on his rear end and had to go to the hospital.
And you just gave everybody your user account on the internet.
That's just a PIN number. Nobody has my wife's login.
You guys should have stuck with polyester pants. No. It's true. There's always somebody trying to hack into something.
This is a mini Mac though, that we've never been hacked.
it's too old to hack.
Nobody
They get
wants
tired of waiting for your ports to open.
Grace said she made a password that was so obscene she couldn't use it.
it's probably Joe Biden.
What a card. Actually, when you think about it, that'd be easy to remember, wouldn't it?
I wonder what your router user and password is. Have you changed it? Well, your son probably did.
I know what it is. Listen, my son.
Not your Wi-Fi. Your router.
I don't even know.
That's okay. Password has probably still changed me.
It's a little white box.
Don't give that information out, because just from the name brand. I'm gonna stop talking.
Everybody that has Verizon has the same box. My son has Verizon. He's got the same box as we do at his house.
You just okay. We're gonna end this right now because
Jim gets hacked.
Jim, don't come back down here.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'll probably see you Sunday on the Vineyard Checks for it's the big giveaway. Sunday.
Going live tomorrow night.
Yeah, that's Saturday.
Yeah.
Sunday is Vineyard Checks. And then I'll be back again Monday. I don't know about Jim. But
I'm not to tell. I never call anybody online my Social Security number.
Jim, I'm gonna miss you. You're a nice guy.
We'll catch everybody. Thanks everybody for hanging out with us tonight.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Except for Jim. We'll see him after he gets a new IP.
Thank you.